Hey everybody, how's it going? So, what in the distraction is this going on? That's the ultimate question, right? So, why in the world is the left vandalizing this reflecting, coming out trying to say that Trump is failing on renovations? It's like they're pretending Trump has a hard hat on and he's out there in the pool cleaning it up himself. Bro, these are contractors coming in and doing this. So even if Trump had hired these people to do it, and this was all going bad without leftist intervention, which it's not. This is all the leftists vandalizing the pool. It's so silly because it would be on the contractors, not Trump. Trump is just the dude paying the bill. Like, what are you even talking about? This is so profoundly stupid that they're trying to get this narrative out there. And you know what? Instead of just distracting you with this whole story, we're going to be talking about, Kash Patel announced a grand jury indictment of James Comey on 2 felony counts, not convictions. I guess he said conviction by accident. I don't know. But we're going for this. He's actually confirming. Oh, I see what's going on. This guy said conviction. I don't think Kash did. We'll watch the video. So he's confirming the charges on James Comey. We're also going to be going over the fact that Iran has just signed over and agreed to the nuclear deal. I just got a comment on my channel like 30 minutes ago going, haha, failure. You can't even get the nuclear deal at all. And then we have it confirmed minutes after. It was very funny. I ended up linking him this because I wanted his response, but they're not going to respond. They don't do that. They don't do that when they're wrong. And then I also want to go over the 2-tiered policing in Britain. Kind of going over some of that. Oh, I guess this one got... There we go. Going over Keir Starmer and all that stuff because, hey, you know what? We need to talk about what's really going on, but I'll entertain the reflecting pool for now. Very, very simple. Multiple people, including former U.S. Olympian, have now been arrested for vandalizing the newly renovated Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. They were caught peeling the lining off of the pool in an attempt to sabotage the renovation. In addition to this, there was a 250-foot knife gash. Other liberals poured corrosive and destructive chemicals into the pool, then dumped algae trying to get more algae to grow. Then they would take a picture of a dead baby duckling. Trying to blame Trump? When they poured corrosive materials into the pool to get, that would obviously kill anything. They're trying to sabotage this and they killed a duck. Then they tried going, oh, look what President Trump did. Really, what this whole entire pool thing is Donald Trump's at fault for making us have to come out and protest and vandalize everything. My buddy Kai and I were just hanging out the other day. And we were talking about a certain factory that's going to be built pretty close to where he is. Okay? And we were talking about, how it's going to be regulated and stuff like that. They're like, oh my gosh, this is going to damage our water table and stuff like that. And it's like, look, we have a major power plant right by them. A major power plant. And you know what they do? They refine coal into power. It's kind of crazy. It's one of the filthiest things you could do when it comes to creating power. The most polluting and everything. And the water levels where they use water to cool their systems, the water comes back out of that plant cleaner than it does going into the plant, which is hilarious. We have water tests done on it all the time. It's one of the most kind of protected, I guess you could say, rivers with tons and tons of wildlife growing. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that companies cannot do bad things. Obviously, most corporations do. Most corporations cut corners and stuff like that. But some companies don't pollute. There's a lot of them out there that are really conscious of it. They're held to higher, how would I put it? They're held to higher standards than most other companies. Okay, put it that way. So, at the end of the day, we don't know what's actually going to happen with this coming up. But it was really funny because we were joking. We're like, all the people out there protesting. It's like, what if they just started going out there and trashing the river and protest? You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, well, if you guys aren't going to trash the river yourselves, then we'll do it for you and make you, see, look at what you made us do. It was just a really funny joke in general. And now we're seeing that happen in real time with the whole reflecting pool of the leftists going, look at what you're making us do. We have to vandalize this and make it gross because Trump is trying to make it look good. And it would have been gross otherwise. We want it to be gross. So therefore, they were wanting Trump to make it gross and be a failure. They couldn't have that happen because Trump wasn't doing that, so they had to vandalize it themselves. Okay? Now, in addition to this, there was oh yeah, we saw that. Keep in mind, the $14 million renovation is part of America's 250th celebrations. Trump is just trying to make the location beautiful for everyone to enjoy. Democrats hate America, and that is absolute fact. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to look through some of this stuff. Here's a Fox News report on it.
The newly renovated reflecting pool in the nation's capital. Kevin Cork joins us now from the White House with all the latest on this. Kevin, good morning.
Yeah, frankly, this is, and good morning to all of you. This is a sad story because all Americans, I don't care about your political stripes, enjoy the reflecting pool. But as Charlie points out, we're talking about someone who's gone from competing in Olympic-sized swimming pools to being accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool along the mall. And of course, he ends up in cuffs. And apparently, he's not the only one. We're speaking of a former Olympian canoeist, 67-year-old David Hearn, three-time Olympian, by the way.
I think if you're an Olympian and you've done anything to win any type of medal for America, that you should probably automatically lose all your rights and claims to that medal. You want to damage America? Okay, fine. You get arrested, you lose all your rights to that gold medal. That's what I would say. Silver medal, copper, copper medal, bronze medal. You know what I'm saying. Here's them being arrested here. 2 men detained after accused of ripping the Lincoln reflecting pool sealant off the bottom of the pool. Hardly hear this at all. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud. My fader is pushed almost all the way out. Wow. What is it, sickly sweet? Yeah, that's what they have to tell themselves, huh? Look at this dude. Look at this dude's pants. These are the girliest pants I've ever seen in my life. Really? Girly bell bottoms? Yeah, well, you ain't going to a ladies' jail, buddy. Look at these people.
Let's go, Algie, let's go! Let's go, Algie, let's go! Let's go, Algie, let's go! Woo! Yeah, Algie! Algie! We got this, Algie! We got the back, Algie!
This is a special type of retardation. Just gonna put it out there. It's like cheering for your grass to grow. They're trying to say it's an act of God, too, that this algae came when they brought it and dumped it into the pool. Isn't that crazy? When they're dumping stuff into the reflecting pool, they're vandalizing it and all that, and they're saying it's an act of God? That's a little creepy, isn't it? That sounds pretty satanic to me, but, you know, what do I know, right? What do I know at all? Grok, what percentage likelihood that people have so much free time they could stage a protest at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool cheering algae growth and have a job are not on government assistance? Said very low, probably under 20 to 30% at most. That's being generous. It's amazing. A bunch of just homeless people, essentially, or what they would be homeless without the government, are there cheering on algae to grow. Isn't that crazy? So what's really going on today? Well, we got this.
Thank you. As you heard from the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney, former FBI Director James Comey, has now been indicted for 2 felony counts. While many of you may read this indictment and view this matter as a simple investigation, it is the farthest thing from that. Every single investigation this FBI and our partners at the Department of Justice undertake, especially those that involve the threats to harm or hurt or even kill individuals, whether they hold public office or civilians in our country, are met with the same measure of investigative prowess and tools and personnel.
And we can hope that it ends up happening. It's funny that this got community noted simply just because instead of saying indictment, he put convictions. I know that's a big mistake, but couldn't you, get a message like, hey, warning, community note gets approved in 30 minutes if you don't change this tweet? You know what I mean? And just edit it on over to be indictment instead, because it's an indictment, not a conviction, which most people would understand. He can't convict anybody. It has to be a judge. So I found it to be kind of funny. Then we have this, just had a commenter say this wasn't going to happen. Obviously, I said this at almost 10 o'clock. It's now 11 o'clock. Which I thought was amazing. Okay, I guess don't
did
play.
Exactly what we wanted to do, which is accomplish 4 things for the American people. First, we wanted to build a mechanism for keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. It is open. We've seen, of course, gas prices and oil prices come down, millions and millions of barrels of crude and natural gas flowing through the Strait of Hormuz that weren't flowing before.
Yesterday, they were saying it was closing again and everything. That was just false information. So maybe stop listening to the anti-Trump people You know what I mean? All the anti-Trump people are full of crap.
But we also wanted to make sure that we actually set up the coordination mechanism so that we could demine the Straits of Hormuz, so that when there are the conflicts that inevitably come up, we can make sure we work through them rather than that leading to escalation, and that is exactly what we did yesterday. Number two, we also wanted to build a mechanism, a similar mechanism, for deconfliction for the regional ceasefire. As the President of the United States has himself said, sometimes these ceasefires just mean you're shooting a little bit less, but we wanted to make sure that we had the proper coordination set up so that if there is shooting, if Hezbollah fires at Israel or if Israel responds, if there are other conflicts that arise in the region, we're actually talking to each other and figuring out how to stop the shooting, how to make the region safer, our allies and everybody else. We set that up as well. Number three, and this is probably what we're most excited about as Americans, the Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
There you go. So I wonder what the anti-Trump people, the extremely woke right, a.k.a. woke left, what they're going to say about this. What exactly are they going to say about that? And they're going to cope. They're going to sit there and say, well, it was failed. We didn't have a war before we had a war with Iran. Yeah, duh, we didn't. You're right. We didn't. Oh, well, we had a nuclear deal before we bombed Iran. No, we didn't. We had Obama's nuclear deal. See, Trump had a good understanding with Iran in his first term. Biden undid all of that. I don't know if y'all remember this, but we had Biden as president for 4 years. I know that's hard to remember because he was not very memorable whatsoever. But we had him as presidents, as our president, and he undid everything Trump did. Now we're redoing what Trump did, but Iran wanted to fight this time. They wanted to actually fight. So we did fight. They lost, and now they're denuclearizing, I guess is how you want to say it, or how J.D. Vance said it the first time. So there we go.
And that's exactly what we wanted to do. That's exactly what we asked to happen. We made a lot of great progress on other nuclear talks. And that leads me to the final thing that we wanted to accomplish, which is actually set up the process for the technical negotiations that will follow.
And there we go. That's what they were asking for. I don't know why people think that we were doing anything else in the Middle East other than trying to secure a nuclear deal that I have been saying since the middle of last year in 2025. Actually, exactly. We're in... Well, not quite. It was in July. We are 11 months away from me saying the exact same thing. We went there, we bombed them, all over a nuclear deal. Everyone else said it was over something different. Trump said it was over a nuclear deal. J.D. Vance said it was over a nuclear deal. All of our intel said it was over a nuclear deal. And then when we end it, it was over a nuclear deal. And they're still trying to say, well, it was for Israel, even though Israel is not very happy with us right now about us ending it. I just don't know. I don't know what else to tell you guys. If you still think the woke right, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly and all those people are telling you the truth, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, all those people, if you're still falling for them at this point, I don't know what else to tell you other than you're just a leftist. You are a leftist, and you are refusing to acknowledge any proof that you are wrong. You are sticking to your ideology over actual evidence. That's a very left-wing thing to do. Just think about that for a minute, okay? Now, this is him talking about trash talking Iran, which is funny.
Today is when you guys engage in what us millennials might call trash talk, you can't expect the President of the United States not to respond and not to correct the record. So when they say things that aren't true, the President is going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. Americans are going to respond to it. When they make threats that aren't rooted in reality, they have to accept that the President of the United States is actually going to set the record straight. That's all that happened. So yes, there was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's normal for Trump. We see this all the time. Now, I did want to cover this lightly because this is pretty crazy. More recorded evidence of two-tier policing this weekend in modern Britain. Watch how aggressive police turn against this group of young white girls. I mean, this is crazy right here. Like, they're obviously not doing much. They're not doing much at all. They're here, I believe, at a protest. But, of course, they say they're disturbing the peace.
Go on, you man! No, you won't be dispersed for the breach of the peace. No, we get lots of money, don't you? Just stop swearing and get moving. Yo!
So he goes and he pushes her out of frustration. If she did anything illegal, this is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to push her back or anything like that. You're not, like, she didn't do anything. She's here in the back row. Look at this. This girl right here. What is she doing? She's backing up. She's slowly backing up, and then he pushes her. She's not aggressing towards him. That's a pretty messed up thing to do. If someone's aggressing towards him, totally understand him using force. That didn't happen. Let's see it again. It's this girl right here. She's backing up. Boom. You could see her arm is up, too. So she was not aggressing towards him at all. Now, this girl here obviously starts hitting the cops afterwards. That's not an okay thing to do in normal circumstances, but man, do I not care about the British police anymore, who have defended 13,000 Muslims who ended up trafficking over 250,000 women and torturing them. Girls, actually. I said women. Women's not even right. Girls. Underage.
Yo, what's he doing? Yo, was he mad? Why is he squaring up to him?
Baton, bam. Gets her across the face. Misses his target. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. Right across the side of her head. And he's looking over here. He's not paying attention. These are not trained officers.
Yo, he's got the baton! Yo!
She's pointing at him like, you know, and he's still hitting. Boom! Punches her right across the face. Tases one girl. They're not even aggressing towards him. Now look at where these lines are. He's shooting across the street here. Look at that. I say across the street. Across the, his way up to the, whatever you'd call this wall. But you see what I'm saying.
Hey, come on, G.
You know, it's just one of those things where these British people will attack also young girls, just like the Muslims. It's kind of crazy, right? And then we have Keir Starmer resigning as Labour leader and Prime Minister. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announces his resignation as Labour Party leader on Monday, following his heavy losses in local election and by-election defeat to Reform UK, which Trump said would happen. He will stay on as caretaker until early September, when a successor like frontrunner Andy Berman takes over after a leadership contest. Starmer highlighted economic growth and wage rises above inflation, but internal revolts over immigration, stagnation, and public services forced his hand amid Reform's UK poll surge. Let's hope that they can actually pull themselves out of this. I have a feeling that they just voted in another party because they vote for the party. They don't vote for a person. The party gets to choose the person to lead. What a stupid arrangement. What an absolute stupid arrangement. The UK doesn't really get to vote for anybody. They get to vote for an entity of hundreds of people. And those amongst those hundreds of people, they get to then choose who is on top. That's crazy. That is an insane thing to do. But anyway, people are like, Keir Starmer cries as he resigns from UK Prime Minister. What an absolute wimp. This person, Ponyboy Curtis, says, I mean, he is human. He had a dream too, and it didn't work out. I'd probably be upset too. You're supposed to be a world leader. You don't cry as a world leader. That is insane. That is an insane thing to do. This dude's crying like he's freaking, what's his name? Something Corbyn. Well, what is his, what's the stupid fat guy's name from, Corbyn, and, late night show. What's this guy's name? James Corden. That's him. See, I mean, literally, just like this dude, this little theater kid. Okay, I guess I'll just, okay. James Corden. Look at him. Look at this guy. This is Keir Starmer right here. Okay? Look at this. Keir Starmer is if this dude and, what's the guy that ruins Adam, ruins everything. What's his stupid name? This guy. Okay, if these two were to, like, mate with each other, I guess you could say, You would then get Keir Starmer. This is who you get. Look at this sad, pathetic excuse of a leader right here. I'll move myself. Look at that. Look at this. If these two got in bed with each other, 1,000,000%, and did that, we're able to conceive there. This is who you get. That's exactly who you get. Isn't that crazy? I've been saying that for a little while. It's really funny. Those two getting together. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. It's just gross. And he has every bit of personality from both of them. Just an extremist left-winger who was supposed to be part of the Conservative Party or something like that. Is that Labor? Is Labor conservative? Like, I heard maybe is. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's gross because he is literally allowed, as we saw in the Muslim gang files, he allowed so many women to be trafficked out of that country. Trafficked. It's disgusting. So that's kind of the, not world news, but that's kind of, the international news for today for the most part. And this reflecting pool is distracting from it. Who cares about the reflecting pool for the most part, other than just arrest every single leftist you catch out there doing something wrong? Every single time you see them dumping something, increase security around there, just arrest them. I don't care. Give them 10 years. Each person that touches that reflecting pool that's not supposed to, give them 10 years. Give them 10 years. I don't care. Get rid of them. What a bunch of absolute idiots. This shouldn't even be news. Shouldn't be news at all. Leftists come to vandalize something that is public property. Give them 10 years. I bet they don't do it again. They don't do it again during this presidency for sure. Or next presidency. That's the best part about it. They get to skip 2 whole presidencies of their entire life because they decided to do something so stupid. Tell me what you all think down in the comment section below. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, guys. Check out members, and I'll see you all here in the next one. Later.